Please help me welcome Laura today. Hi, Laura.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on. And
Of course.
just so everybody knows, this was like, I had a cancellation and she was so kind as to fit in there.
Oh
So
yeah, I'm
I
so
just
happy to be
really
here.
appreciate it. And I got to know her a little bit. So
Yeah.
Laura, why don't we start out with what you do or wait a minute, what is your story? What is your life
Sure,
struggle?
absolutely. So, well, my life struggle, I would say, has kind of come to me about a year ago. So, I think let's see, it would have been December of 2020, which, we all know how 2020 was for all of us. Um, so I am a dancer for a living. So I'm a professional dancer at Universal Studios in Orlando.
Nice.
And yeah, so fun. It's the best job, honestly. Nothing better. But
That.
yeah, it's so fun. But I was in December I was going into work, and I remember telling a lot of my fellow dancer friends, like, we would be doing warm-ups in the morning, and I would always tell them, like, my limbs feel like 20% numb and I don't really know what's happening. And
Wow, numb, huh?
yeah, I know, it was so weird. And and as strange as it sounded too, at the same time, the bottoms of my feet started getting like uncontrollably itchy, like to
Oh,
the point where in between every show, I would have to take off my shoes and just literally scratch the bottoms of my feet for the full like 45-minute break. So
wow.
yeah, and it was so weird. And I was just like, I do not know what's happening here. And so then, I kind of just was hoping it would go away. I was like, is this COVID? No, I don't know what this is. And so then in February, it had kind of hit like it just had kept getting worse. So it got
Right.
to a point where I was like, I do not know what is happening here, but I have a feeling it's something autoimmune related, just because I don't know what it is, but it's like you can almost feel your body attacking itself. It's very weird. I don't
Right.
know if you feel that way.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, you kind of get it, right?
And yes, and I think doctors need to listen to us when we tell them stuff.
I agree. It's true.
Know our bodies. Yes.
We sure do, better than anyone ever will.
Yep.
So I could just feel it happening. I could feel something happening. I didn't really know what autoimmune disease it might be, or even if it was one, but I just had
Right.
a feeling. And I was just getting like, my muscles kept getting more and more like weak and fatigued. It almost felt like somebody poured like a tub of concrete in me, and I was just like barely moving through the space.
Wow.
And yeah, it was just so weird. And of course, as a dancer, it kind of makes you question your whole life. It's like, oh my gosh, my body is fighting every single move that I do in a day when that's my livelihood. So it really plays a lot of mental games with you. And
So just out of curiosity, how many hours a
yeah.
day do you dance?
So we're very fortunate in the show that I do, where it's pretty short, actually. So we do 6 10-minute shows a day. So an hour a day. And then the rest we're just on break. So it's pretty sweet
So
gig.
but you just stay on property though?
Yeah. So we have like a nice break room where we'll go in between shows. And then there I can just like, go to school and do whatever I want to do on my breaks. It's like fully up to me. So it's pretty nice.
Nice. Do you mind if
Yeah.
I ask your age?
Oh yeah. I'm about to turn 33 next week.
Okay. And do you
So
have any
yes.
children? Are you married?
No children. I do have another half. We have been together for a decade now. We're not married. We will eventually. It's just not something we really, care too much
Yes.
about.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and then, right now we're house hunting, so we're trying to get a place and hopefully a dog or two, and that will kind of make us feel a little more complete too.
And you may just end up that be in your family.
Yeah, it's very possible. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
So,
it.
and I only asked that because I didn't know. So what were you ended up diagnosed with?
Yeah, so I went into my general doctor and he ran the full autoimmune panel. And then,
Why did he
um,
choose that to run? Did you mention it to him?
it was funny because when I went in there, I was explaining some of my symptoms, and he said, and I was already thinking this way too, but he said, it sounds like there's something autoimmune going on. And I was like, I couldn't agree with you more. And I was like, I don't know what it is. And he's like, I don't really either. But that's like, he just ran the full, just the autoimmune panel. He didn't even really think it was anything else at that time. So I was very grateful.
There's
He's
so many
he's
different kinds of autoimmune disorders.
Definitely. And he really was like, I don't know which one it could be. He's like, I don't know, maybe it's lupus, maybe it's, RA, maybe, we weren't sure MS was on the
I was
table,
going to say, is an MS an autoimmune too?
yes, yep. And that
That's
does
more of
manifest.
shaking and losing balance and
Sort of, yeah, but MS, that's what I was most fearful of. That's a big one. That's a scary one. But because it does manifest more in the muscles. So the weird part about me, so I did end up getting diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. And so that it was a strange diagnosis because it hadn't hit my joints yet. So
Mm,
I was feeling everything in my muscles, and nothing
okay.
nothing had touched my joints yet, which is so interesting, you
Yeah.
know.
So
So yeah.
um we discussed it just a little bit before we came on, but I had asked you if that was something that was in your genes.
Yeah.
And so explain to our audience that where it
Mhm.
can come from, not just
Absolutely.
necessarily the genes.
Yeah. So up until probably, I mean, I'm not sure exactly how long ago, but up until recently, there was kind of always the assumed thing that this is for sure hereditary,
Right.
and that's, it has to be in your genetic line in order for you to get it. And now they're finding, after, so much research and so many, there's just so much research being done, and they found that it can actually be triggered by certain viruses, as one means of getting it. So
Like
things like,
childhood viruses or
it could be. So yeah, really viruses anytime, like anytime throughout your life. And then I think, from at least from my understanding, I'm not a doctor, so this is just what's been explained to me, but
Mhm.
it can a virus can trigger it, and then it can then lie dormant in your system, and then something will set it off. So for me, we're not totally sure, but I, of course, like, had the typical things growing up. I had mono and different things like that. Um, but, we kind of wonder if maybe having one of those viruses put it dormant in my system. And then with the stress, there was a lot happening, not even COVID related, for me in 2020, where, my boyfriend's father had passed, and we watched it all happen. And there was a lot going on in 2020. So we kind of wonder if the stress of COVID, not working, losing a family member, all those kinds of things, all just like turned on that signal to green light to go get her,
Right.
so
Right.
and to my understanding too, it can come from things from like mold exposure, which that is a possibility too. I did have a period where I was living in an area with black mold that we didn't really know existed
Oh,
there.
wow.
Yeah, so it can kind of come from a variety of things. Honestly, I've kind of heard even stress alone can set it off in your body. But
And if
yeah.
you read about stress, stress can bring out almost anything in your body.
I know, isn't that insane?
Yes. And
Oh,
and that's why I'm so into teaching stress management. And I just got
yeah.
back from a 5-week self-love trip
Oh my gosh,
that
that's
I took
awesome.
all by myself,
Oh,
on purpose,
wow.
all by myself, with no plans whatsoever. Just
Wow.
I did it in the car, obviously, because if I flew somewhere, then I'd know where I was going and I'd have to get a car, rent a car.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to know where I was going. I was just going to take off. And
Wow.
wherever my first stop was, I'd figure out the next one. And I chose to go east and then south.
Okay.
And I had friends all over the place, and I would just give them like a 2-day notice. I mean, I called
Wow.
all of them in advance and said, hey, I'm going to be taking
Yeah.
a self-love trip, but
Uh-huh.
I don't want to plan a certain day. So is like a 2-day notice okay? And I
Okay.
also have a bunch of family in Florida too. So
Nice.
all over the place,
Wow.
all over the place. So I got it was wonderful. And I also spent a night in a tree house
Oh, wow.
and a couple nights in a tiny house.
Oh, fun.
So, it was fun, but I did a lot of self-care for myself.
That's amazing. You deserve it.
And I
Absolutely.
think everybody needs to do one of those.
I totally
They kept
agree.
saying, oh, you're going to be so bored. You're not going to have anybody do that with you. I'm like,
No way.
no,
No.
I took my kayak and I went to the Everglades and Yargo
Wow.
Island and
My
I
goodness.
all kinds of stuff. So
Oh, that's so
anyway,
cool. Good for
anyway,
you.
I can't tell you how much better I felt.
Wow, that's amazing. I
So
need to
much
take a
better.
page out of your book. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll give
Yes,
you
thank
one.
you. Thank you.
You have my permission.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so anyway, sorry, go on.
Oh, no, you're good. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of, the different ways that they're finding that RA and really any autoimmune disease can come up in the body. And it's interesting because my boyfriend's cousin, he is actually a rheumatology PA. So he's kind of been, an ally for me, which has been so convenient.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so, he said ever since COVID, they have had such an influx of RA patients because they're finding that COVID, being a virus, triggers that in the body. And it's like such a quick reaction from getting COVID to getting RA. It's like
that
a
darn
pretty,
COVID.
I know.
Did you happen to get it at all?
Yeah, I actually had it twice in 2 months.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Was
fun.
was one of them not so bad or something?
They they were both not ideal, not terrible. I wasn't in the hospital or anything, but with being on,
Was one not as severe as the other?
they were pretty similar, honestly.
Wow.
I know, but I really think, because with RA, I'm on Humira, which, it does weaken the immune system. So I think just with that, it's easier for us to
But
get sicker.
I was going through chemo, which really weakens your
Oh yeah, big
immune
time.
system. Of of course, everything was shut down here though.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no place for me to go when I felt better anyway.
Gotcha. Sure.
Whereas Florida was open, even
Yeah,
we had to wear
pretty
masks
much
and
right
stuff,
away.
but it was still
Yeah.
open. And we weren't
Mm-hmm. That's
open.
true.
We our governor closed down the state for like what,
Gotcha.
5 months.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah,
So
very different.
yeah,
Yeah.
very different. So that could
Yeah.
be, but then just this year, no, 21, because 20 is when it started, March of 20.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
in 21, late in 21, when everything opened back up,
Mm-hmm.
everybody started getting COVID again.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, but and you don't have to agree or disagree with me. We're all
No, you're
have
good.
a right to our opinion. But
Absolutely.
and I'm not telling anybody out there not to do or what to do.
Yep.
I'm just saying the mask thing to me is not something that's really going to work unless you're coughing or sneezing, and that's
I'm
to
with you.
protect somebody else. But
Yeah.
why not have somebody at the door? They had somebody at the door for mask. Why not have somebody at the
Mm-hmm.
door to wash your hands going in and going out?
Oh yeah, that's actually a great point. Absolutely.
And I don't think people would complain about that,
No,
but
no.
that's where it's being spread is
It's
touching
true.
everything. And
Yeah,
I just don't get it.
I know.
I really don't.
Yeah, it's true. And it's funny that you say that too, because, it makes me realize how much like Universal did when we came back, because we came back to work in the beginning of June, actually. So like we were the very first, Universal was the very first entertainment thing to be open in the world. Yeah, which is wild. But they did such a good job. Whereas, like, every single ride you went into, every single store, everywhere you went, somebody was there giving you hand sanitizer before everything
Which
you
is
would ever
perfect.
touch. Yeah. And really, like, we didn't really, not that I know of, we didn't really have any cases traced back to Universal, which was great. So you're so right. It is so important. It really is all the
And really,
touching.
it's kind of common sense. I mean, I do that anyway,
Yes,
if somebody's
totally.
got a cold,
Hmm.
I mean, anything can be passed by touching
Yes,
stuff. So
definitely.
that's something that, and I just really don't believe that people would complain, but they were complaining about the mask. I can't even
Oh
tell you
yeah.
how many places I heard of where people actually punch somebody at the door trying to make them wear a
Oh my
mask,
gosh.
you
Yeah,
know,
so many times. Yeah.
just yelling and screaming and threatening not to come to that place anymore. And I'm like,
Hmm.
this would have been so much easier,
I know. It's
because
true.
seriously, that wasn't helping unless they had a cough or sneeze. And normally,
Yep.
if you're okay, well, first of all, if you're sneezing, it could just be allergies. But
Yeah.
what's a normal reaction usually if you've been raised that
Hmm.
you do when you
Cover
sneeze?
your,
You
yeah,
cover,
cover your mouth. Yeah.
either here or here,
Yep.
but then
Hmm.
it's on your hands, which is my other thing
Right.
about washing your hands.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
I see a lot of people do this if they cough or
Yeah.
something. And I mean,
Hmm.
it could be something in their throat, but it could be a cold too. But
Totally.
most people that have a bad cold are home
Hmm.
anyway,
It's true.
you know.
Yep.
So anyway,
Yep. I couldn't agree with you more.
but we're not saying don't wear the mask.
Nope. Not at all. Not
We're
at
not
all.
saying
It's just a
don't get
bigger
the
picture.
shots.
No.
Okay. Well, you can get in trouble for that.
Oh, I know. It's
So be
true.
careful.
Yes, you
Okay,
do.
so continue. Do you know where you were?
Let's see. Well, I was kind of just explaining the, different ways that RA can get into or can be triggered in your system, and, what that kind of looked like for me. But
So then
yeah,
let's go into what your treatment was.
sure. So the first thing that they put you on is methotrexate. Are you familiar,
I
having gone
am
through
not,
chemo?
so I want to
Okay,
write it
gotcha.
down. Metho,
Okay, methotrexate.
methotrexate. Okay, got
Yes.
it.
And I'm going to try and, be gentle about how I explain this one, but it's a nasty drug. It is. I mean, it's a chemo drug. So
I'm
you know how
familiar with
those are.
that.
Yeah. Um so it
That's odd.
I know. I agree.
Huh, okay.
It's used in different dosages, so it is treated, it's treated for the methotrexate is used for so many different things. They use it for abortions, which also leads me to my next part too.
Seriously.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's used for so many different things. And I will preface this by saying I have a lot of friends in the RA community that have gone on that and gone into remission. They're doing great. They still are on it. No problems. They'll get the side effects, but it's worth the risk is worth the reward, basically.
Okay.
But for
I'm just
me,
trying to look it up, so
oh, totally, yeah, no problem.
go ahead.
So for me, I had a different experience where it was like, normally the symptoms your side effects that you get from methotrexate is like mostly stomach related. And I didn't actually have any problems with my stomach, but it was everything else. I was getting all these veins popping up. It can cause bleeding under the skin. So I was getting like petechiae along my eye, eyelid, just weird stuff along like the backs of my legs, like, and of course we're as women going to get veins as we get older, but it was in like right away once I started that methotrexate. So it was just a little, too coincidental. And I had this constant feeling like it just, my teeth felt like they were all gonna fall out at any given moment. And so I don't know.
Okay, so I'm just going to real quickly read to everybody what I found on it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So it says chemotherapy and immunosuppressive drug. It can treat
Mhm,
cancer of the blood, bone, lung, breast, head, and neck. It can also treat
mhm.
rheumatoid
Yeah.
arthritis and psoriasis.
Okay, gotcha. Interesting.
It also, do you know the side effects and the interactions?
Probably to an extent, but go ahead and read them.
So dizziness, drowsiness, headache,
Mhm.
swollen tender gums, decreased in appetite, reddened eyes, and hair loss.
Interesting.
Did you
Hmm.
get any of those?
Yes, I definitely got the hair loss.
Did you?
Yeah,
See, that's
and
kind
then
of like chemo.
yeah, definitely. It wasn't as extreme, of course, as chemo, but enough to where I still feel uncomfortable. I'm self-conscious about it. Um, yeah, and I guess maybe the swollen gums thing, maybe that would explain why I had that teeth falling out sensation.
Probably.
That's interesting. That's good to hear it worded that way. Maybe I can
Yeah.
explain it to my doctors better.
So, well, I always go to Mayo Clinic.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I use to look up everything.
Okay, good to
So
know.
just so you know, that's where I got my information.
Yeah.
And then okay, this is kind of scary.
hmm
So has your professional doctor told you the long-term effects?
Of course not.
Of course not.
Yeah.
It says a liver biopsy is recommended
Uh-huh.
if you're taking it long-term.
Uh-huh.
Um, it usually, no, sorry, rarely cause serious, sometimes fatal side effects such as lung problems, lung infections, skin reactions, diarrhea, and mouth sores.
Interesting.
So,
Hmm.
okay,
Fascinating.
all these
Yes.
lovely, wonderful drugs they give us to help with things
Right? Yes, I know. Fun
that
stuff.
end up giving us other stuff.
Yes, it's true.
So that leads me to you're probably doing some other stuff to help.
Yeah.
So can you go into
Definitely.
that?
Totally. So, with so basically I ended up stopping the methotrexate after about 4 months because also my liver numbers were way in the red and my rheumatologist kept trying to keep me on it and I said absolutely not.
Good for you. Good for
Yeah.
you. Just
So,
what I read you, right? That it could cause
yes,
liver problems.
exactly. No, you totally nailed that. So, yes, I did take myself off of it and then I am on Humira right now, which I'm actually doing pretty well on. It's not something that I want to be a super long-term thing, but
Uh-oh, here we
at
go.
least, yeah, exactly.
How do you
Not
spell it?
ideal.
It's not
Um,
ideal.
not ideal, but it's much to me it's much better than
Better.
methotrexate, but it's different, for everybody, but it's Humira. And this is so Humira is part of a series of their what are called biologic drugs. And those are the drugs that are known to cause cancer. So they're very, very dangerous drugs.
That sounds like the medication that my father-in-law took for blood cancer,
Oh, interesting.
which they failed to tell him that it could cause other
Oh
cancers,
my gosh.
which it saved him. It gave him, he was like taking it for 15 years and his levels were staying good. And then
hmm
all of a sudden he started getting big lumps of skin cancer, like where they had to take
Wow.
him off and he like lost both his ears and his
hmm
nose, and it was awful. Chunks out of his legs. He wouldn't even wear
Wow.
clothes. And
Oh,
it wasn't until I questioned what the heck's going on here. Like I know
yeah.
skin cancer is supposed to be caused by like sunburn and stuff,
Right.
but he wasn't getting that. And it certainly doesn't come in these great, big, huge lumps, it's like
Mhm.
little small stuff that starts out.
Yeah.
So I was really curious about it. And then the doctor said, oh, well, that's from the chemo pill that he's been taking all these years. Like, was
Interesting.
he told that to begin with?
Right.
No.
No way.
And
Mm-mm.
that turned into, so this skin cancer took over, and so rapidly that he ended up with lung cancer and died within weeks.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And what I felt the worst about was that he loved being like outdoors in fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
And because he looked like a monster that just
Oh,
packed his face, no ears, no nose, even
wow.
like his eyes up here, and then it started on his
Mhm.
chest, his arms, his legs, everywhere. They were taking these big chunks out. So he
Oh,
wouldn't go anywhere. He wouldn't go outside the house.
oh, that's awful.
And then it goes into his lungs and then it kills him.
Oh,
So he didn't even get time to have any kind of pleasure, you know.
yeah.
So
Oh, wow, that's
anyway, so
awful.
I've looked this up. Huh. It says it's for plaque cirrhosis treatment.
Psoriasis, it can be for
Right.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Mhm.
Cirrhosis?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Close enough.
But that's what it comes up first.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll stop. And then, of course, they have rheumatoid arthritis.
Gotcha.
I basically was going to look and see what the side effects were and that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
just because there's people out there listening that probably have or could have rheumatoid arthritis, and I'm hoping that we can help somebody.
Yeah.
It's a TNF blocker medicine that can lower the ability of your immune system to fight infections.
Mm-hmm.
Darn it.
I know.
Why can't they come up with something that doesn't damage something else?
Yeah, I know. That is the best question.
And it says serious infections, and then it says cancer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
That's all you need to see, right?
I'm done. Gosh darn
I
it. It
know.
seems like
Yeah.
everything causes cancer.
Everything. It's
Okay,
insane.
so go
Yeah.
on. So you got on
Yes.
this.
Yep. So I've been on this now since September. And it's definitely had its peaks and valleys, but I find that my biggest trigger for flaring in my joints, because it did of course eventually move into my joints and away from my muscles. So now I kind of have your classic RA case.
Okay.
So
And does that mean you have a lot of pain?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and I pretty much have it, with RA. RA is interesting where it jumps around your different joints. So like one day I'll wake up and it'll be in my like right ankle, my left knee, and my left elbow. And then, it'll be super intense to where you're like, surely this pain is not going to go away for like weeks, because it's like, it feels like you tore stuff in your, it feels like you tore ligaments in each joint. So you're like, surely this one. And then the next day you'll wake up and it'll switch to the other side, or it'll go into your hips, and you just never know how you're going to wake up feeling.
Well, is there anything in particular that triggers that?
Yes. So for me, I found, because I was on Humira since September, and when you're in your loading dose, you feel like you can climb every mountain, run every mile, everything. Like you just feel invincible, and that's how you think it's going to be for the first month or so, two to 4 weeks usually, and then you fall back down, and then you kind of level off. But
No.
yeah, it's interesting, but in the months around like December, I would say December was a really tough month for me, because that's the month where I got COVID twice. And so my body was just under so much stress, and then the stress of the holidays, and there were just various things at work that were not ideal, and so I was just under an immense amount of stress. And that was when I like could not get my body to cooperate with me at all.
Does
And
rain make it any worse?
definitely the cold and the wet are so hard on my joints. So Florida is a little tricky because the wet is also in the summer too. So it's like, you
Right.
know,
But isn't it kind of different when it's not the cold rain?
it's different, but it's not better, I would
Not
say.
better.
I would say you can almost like feel your joints just feel fatter with full of fluid in the summer because, you know, that's what the heat does. It just makes everything swell. And so your joints just feel so swollen to where it's like you can like barely, you know, it's just so stiff. Whereas the cold months, I found it's just more like joint like pain. You don't necessarily, at least for me, I don't necessarily like feel the inflammation as much. It just is like pain. So
But do
it's
you
very
live,
interesting.
I'm sorry, do you live in Orlando?
Yeah. So we
Okay,
don't get
so,
much cold. Yeah.
okay, but I lived in Fort Lauderdale, which
Okay.
is to me a whole lot warmer than Orlando.
Definitely. Totally. Yep.
And I loved it. And as far as the humidity, of course, I don't have anything that, is
Yeah.
causing problems with that dampness,
Mhm.
but that was like, give it to me because this is going to give me beautiful skin, my
That
pores
is
are
true.
open. And I don't not use sunscreen. By the way, since I'm just brought sunscreen up,
Yeah.
I just want to tell everybody they really have to be careful with sunscreen. If you look at the ingredients in sunscreen, it actually has ingredients that actually cause cancer.
Yes. So many.
So you need to, zinc now is actually
Mhm.
pure, and they've now
Mhm.
come out with, thank goodness, clear.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Finally.
yeah, they
Yeah.
should have done that to begin with. But
Yeah.
regardless, use zinc. Cover
Definitely.
yourself. You can still get tan after a while. It's just a slower process,
Yeah.
but at least your skin's not going to burn.
Definitely.
So anyway, I just want to put that out there real fast because that's
Yeah.
something that causes cancer too, if you look at the ingredients. So
It's true. And you know what? It's really funny that you bring up sunscreen because so you know, because I went on Humira in September, that was towards the end of like, you know, the super hot summer months with the deadbeat
right.
sun. And so now as we're journeying back into those months, and this will be my first summer on Humira, it does cause you to have a harder time handling the sun. And so I went on a walk the
Is
other
it
day.
heat or the
Oh,
sun?
the sun, your skin gets burnt. Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah. And it was funny because the other day I went for a walk in the park and I was wearing a baseball hat and so you know it was shading like this part of my face and so right here it's just a strip basically along the left side of my chin.
Oh
I
my
went to
goodness.
rub it. Yeah, I rubbed it and I know I'm very olive skin, very tan. All the you know just that's just my I don't tan or anything. That's
No,
just
you're
my
mine.
skin. You're pretty good too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have
Okay. Nice.
olive skin.
Yes, you do for sure. So, you know, like we don't really, at least for me, I don't ever burn really.
If I burn, I think I did one time really bad, and that's because I fell asleep in a pool
Oh, that'll do it.
and nobody woke me up, and
Oh
I was
gosh.
floating. And
Yeah,
so I'm floating on water. Water attracts the sun
it
even more.
does.
I
Yeah.
woke up burnt like you would not. In fact, I had to go to the hospital.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. They had to
Oh
put
my
cool
goodness.
sheets. I ended up with sun poisoning, and
Wow.
so, I would never, I don't recommend laying in a pool if you're tired
That's a
all
good
the
idea.
time.
Yeah. Good tip. Good tip. Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Um,
the things
so
we
yeah,
learn.
it's so true. They are extensive.
Okay.
But yes, so I got this like burnt strip along my chin and it was the first realization that and it's been like peeling and flaking like crazy and that is so atypical for me. And so I, you know, I've realized like, oh wow, I really need to be loading on the sunscreen every time I go outside because like just a simple walk in the park is going to make me burn now that I'm on these drugs. So
Right.
it is fascinating. But um yeah. So
Okay. So you are a life coach.
yes.
How did that happen?
So back when, let's see,
I think that's going to lead into some other things that you're using to help you along the way.
definitely, yes,
Okay.
more holistic methods.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's go into that.
Yes. So probably about 5 or 6 years ago, um, I had gotten my personal trainer certification, and I just kind of wanted to start preparing myself as I neared the, you know, towards the end of my dance career, because, as a dancer, we are always under, we all know that it's a very short lifespan for dancers. So you have maybe until, like, for me, I would like to journey on when I'm around 35, 36, and, move on, because I'm not trying to be like the old dancer that's, shouldn't be on stage anymore.
Right.
So I ultimately knew that I wanted to help people, but I didn't really know in what way.
Mhm.
So I was like, let me just start learning, getting certifications, getting myself educated. And so I got my personal trainer certification through NASM. And
Can you spell that
um,
for me, please?
the company,
Yeah.
it's NASM. And that's the National Academy of Sports Medicine. And they are kind of known as the best of the best,
So
as far
can
as
you do
personal
that
trainers.
online?
Yes, you can. Yeah. And
Okay.
then you just have to go and take a proctored exam somewhere.
Okay.
But yeah, it was about a 9-month course. But
That's not
so
bad.
yeah, no, it wasn't. Yeah. And they, have a pretty affordable program. So I got that. And then, I was like, let me also get my life coaching certification, because I want to also be able to help people in more of a mental, emotional side of things as well, and kind of be able to help people with the full scope of things, whether that's mind, body, spirituality, anything along those lines. And so
So where
I went through.
did you get that through online too?
I did, yes. So that was through the Integrative Wellness Academy. Um, and yeah, I just kind of found them online, and after doing some research, and it just really seemed like a good, just a really good fit for me. They really aligned with kind of my beliefs and things.
Mhm.
They look at the full scope, whereas, some life coaching certifications just focus on goal setting, or just focus on the
Right.
mind, or,
Right.
so it
Right.
really was the full package, which was great. um, so yeah, so I got that certification, and I wasn't really in a place where I needed or wanted to start taking clients or anything. I just wanted to start learning and taking courses and things like that. So um, then once I got diagnosed with RA, it was so funny, because the night that I read because, I go online first and read my blood work before my doctors can tell
Yes,
me.
me too.
Yeah,
Me
you too.
too.
Good, it's good. I'm glad I'm not
Absolutely, because
alone.
I get a notice. I get a notice
Yeah,
that say you have this, and then of
true.
course it always says at the top, your provider may not have this information yet,
Yeah,
but I don't,
yes.
because
No,
I
me
read
too.
up my own stuff anyway.
Me too. Yes. Little medical sleuths.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So it was funny because I remember so vividly that I was sitting on my bed, and my boyfriend was in the other room, and I opened up my labs, and I saw what came back positive. And so I looked it up, and that's the one. It's my CCP, and that's the one that's like RA, and can't really be anything else. So once I read that, like, that
And
is
that
what was.
was elevated. Is that what you were saying?
Yes. So
By
that
a
did test
lot?
positive. Yeah. And so, yeah, so that did test positive for RA. And, of course, you go through the full spectrum of emotions,
Of
because
course.
it's a big, it's a very life-changing disease. And, um, but then it was such an immediate almost feeling of like, I get it now. Like, I get exactly where I was supposed to always land. And that was right here. And
Mm.
that was so I could be in this moment to, like, go through all of this myself, to be able to help other people who are going through it too, or who are newly diagnosed and they have nobody. You feel so alone when you're first diagnosed, because you don't have your community of awesome online friends
Right.
yet that are supportive. And
So
it's just,
do you have a
yeah.
group online that you belong to?
Not necessarily a group, but I've just through Instagram, I have found so many different RA friends.
Amazing,
Like
isn't it?
it really is. It just is the best community and it's like, you know, because your family and friends can really only understand so much. I mean, I'm sure you totally get that going through chemo and cancer. I mean, that's so difficult.
Yeah.
And they can never really know, you know?
And really, one of my things was I didn't want people feeling sorry for me.
Definitely.
I wanted to keep a positive attitude. I didn't
Mhm.
want people going around going, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Not
Yeah.
that that's not nice of people, because it
Right.
is, but people don't really know what to say.
It's true. Yep.
Um, I try to tell people they really don't have to say anything, but like if you're in a bad way, like when I
Mhm.
was taking the chemo and I got COVID and I was all
Yeah.
by myself, like
Oh.
I had absolutely no energy. Like I
Mhm.
was, so my biggest thing was, so I started out with a fever.
Mhm.
I never had any coffee and I didn't have a cold. I did get the stomach, but I don't even know if you'd call it a stomach flu. It was something that I've never experienced before.
Really?
But I vomited for 7 hours straight and it was not
Oh.
food. It was not
Whoa.
food. And my stomach never felt bad. My throat would just all of a sudden be on fire.
Oh my gosh.
But I was by myself.
Mhm.
Um, my husband did come home for that part. Not
Mhm.
intentionally, but I mean, he came home and he found me like that. And like he
Yeah.
tried to help me
Yeah.
because I couldn't even leave the bathroom. It would only go for about 7 minutes and then I'd have to go again.
Oh.
So you know how like the stomach flu, if you have the stomach flu, it's like 20-30 minutes, your stomach slip.
Mhm.
Okay, this wasn't coming from my stomach and it wasn't food. And it
Oh my
wasn't,
goodness.
I mean, it was tons and tons and tons. That's gross, I know. I don't even
Yeah.
know how to explain it or where it came from,
Yeah.
but it lasted 7 hours.
Oh.
And that took everything out of me.
Oh wow.
And then I got a fever after that. And I would just wake up, with the bed soaked and whatever. And
Mhm.
I'd get my Tylenol in me and I can't take ibuprofen.
Oh,
So yeah, I
interesting.
can't take anything that has an inflammation fighter in it because it
Oh.
reacts the opposite on me and I get the shakes really bad.
Oh, wow, interesting.
I know. So kind of bad when you need something
Yeah,
but there's
definitely.
other stuff you can do. So anyway, but the
Yeah.
Tylenol would, keep it down, but then I would sleep. So I
Mhm.
just slept a lot, a lot. And the
Wow.
more the more I slept, the weaker I got. Because you're not
Really?
up moving around.
Yeah, I suppose.
And then with nobody there, I didn't have a choice but to, yeah, I mean, I drink, and I still do. I'm always been a water drinker. I don't drink soda or
Mhm.
anything like that. So water, a lot of it. Oh,
Yeah.
one thing I did get that I've not heard other people mention except for one.
Mhm.
Um, what is that called? Thrush.
Oh, interesting.
I know.
Huh. Yeah, I haven't heard of anyone getting that either.
Well,
You
my
just had
daughter
one.
ended up with it with COVID, and she didn't get the COVID from me. It was way after me, but she ended up
Sure.
with thrush.
Oh, wow, interesting.
I know. So I don't know if that's maybe something we carried in our body.
Yeah,
It's
maybe.
something again that stress or whatever to the
Mhm.
body brings it out. But that
Yeah.
was horrid, horrible.
Wow.
I don't know if you've ever seen anybody with thrush or experienced it,
No.
but your whole mouth gets full of bumps
Oh.
and it gets down your throat and inside
Oh
your
my
teeth.
gosh.
And you can't eat, you can't do anything, and it burns really bad.
Wow.
So, and the medicine soothes it right away. It's kind of gross tasting, but that doesn't matter because right away that pain goes away, but it doesn't
Okay.
last very long.
Oh.
And you can't take it like I took mine too
Yeah.
much and it ran out too soon and
Oh
then
no.
before it
Oh
was gone.
gosh.
But anyway, so I had that. But
Mhm.
mostly I was just tired, tired, tired.
Mhm.
And the tired I was, the more I slept, the more I lost my muscle. Um,
Mm.
yeah, my muscle. And so
Interesting.
I started when I did have to get up to get me something, I would have to crawl. I couldn't even stand up
Oh,
on my legs and I would have to
wow.
crawl. So that wasn't very fun. And it took
That's
me,
tough.
I don't know if everybody knows this, but it actually takes you it takes you longer to gain your muscle back than to lose it.
Interesting.
So, and I don't know if you know that or not, but I bet it took
Yeah.
me a good 3 months of doing yoga for my
Hmm.
strengthening.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't do anything. So anyway,
Wow. Oh my
you
goodness.
didn't have that, any of that, your muscle weakness or?
I had just the normal amount of muscle weakness. Yeah, but not, gosh, not like that.
And you didn't sleep a lot?
I would kind of just say the normal amount there too. I have insomnia, so I'm not a very good sleeper. So it's
Well,
tricky.
I ended up with insomnia.
Did you?
Yeah.
I suppose,
Yeah.
yeah.
After I slept so much, then I was like, okay, so
Wow.
still, I was in quarantine and then everybody else was anyway.
Yeah,
So it's not like I was done and then, oh, I can go somewhere.
that's
Um,
true.
so then I became a Netflix junkie.
Sure, makes sense.
There wasn't, a whole lot that I could do. I mean, I did get up
Wow.
and move and stuff, but anyway,
Yeah. Wow.
okay.
That's
So,
crazy.
so what did you do? I want to know about the holistic
Yes.
things that
Yes,
are
the good
helping you.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually grew up in a sports background where I just grew up doing a handful of these things. So it actually worked out me getting this because then I was able to like push them even further and already kind of have a basis of knowledge for that world.
Mhm.
So things that I do, well, first off, I went to physical therapy, which I highly recommend anybody with any sort of muscle or joint issue, disease, anything like that. I would highly recommend push for your insurance to get you physical therapy. They will fight you to the death, but it is the best thing that you can
But so
possibly
physical,
do.
I mean, you like once a week or like
Um, it,
forever? What?
so my insurance only gave me 8 sessions. So we had to, kind of crank everything out as far as like knowledge went in those 8 sessions. So
But then they teach you stuff you can do at home, right?
yes. And then, like he would show me, my physical therapist, he would show me different things like different like wrist like little things that you can bend and move around. It's like they
Mhm.
look like a little bar that you can like twist and bend, and that's what keeps your wrist strong. And there's different like hand contraptions that you can use to keep your hands strong and keep your joints, having that same mobility and things. And then things like, one thing I cannot recommend enough to people who have any sort of muscle or joint issue is getting a balance disc. They're like $10 on Amazon, and
A
they are
balance.
so good with, yeah, they're so good with, if you just rock back and forth on them. That is what I like when I first got diagnosed. That is what I would do before every show because my ankles would just it would like almost flushes the swelling out. And so just rocking back and forth, back and
I
forth.
wonder if that's anything like this thing I have where you stand on balance it and you can like go back and forth with
Oh,
it.
yeah, like a wobble board. Is
Yeah.
that what you have? It's kind of
I
similar.
wonder if it would do the same thing.
I bet you it probably would. Yeah. I think
I'm
the
gonna look
balance
that
disc.
up though, because I'm an Amazon influencer.
Oh,
So
me too. Yes.
are you? So
Yeah.
so do you put in your stories that?
I just got accepted to the program,
Did
so
you?
now I'll start, sharing more of my little tools and tricks and
Okay.
things.
I
Um,
just put some makeup on there today.
oh, nice. I'll have to go look. I love makeup.
All the drugstore makeup is on Amazon too.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Hmm.
and I do drugstore versus expensive. I do a lot of
Oh, cool.
to see which is better, kind of like,
Yeah.
is that called Brandify? Yeah.
Oh,
Bran-
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If you look at Brandify, they'll like, so I look at their stuff and then I
Hmm.
try different stuff and then I advertise which one's better.
Oh,
And then I'll
nice.
pull it off of Amazon and to
Yeah.
share it. So
Oh,
like,
cool.
um, it's probably about off. But like today, I don't know why. I guess I was in
Mhm.
a hurry packing up to get here today, but somehow I didn't have lipstick here. And I've always had tons of makeup here. And
Yeah.
but I had eyeshadow. And so I used this palette.
Ah.
So it's like a matted lipstick.
Oh, cool.
And I used a palette that I have from Physicians Formula
Oh, nice.
and patted it on. And, I don't think you can see much of it
Wow.
now, but it's
Yeah.
kind of the same color of my eyeshadow.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
so,
That's so
so, you
smart.
could use it. Yeah. So you can use it
Yeah.
for both things, and so I put that one on there today and showed
Oh,
them like
cool.
before and after. But
Oh,
anyway,
nice. Oh,
okay.
cool.
So,
Yeah.
you can
So,
start like showing your stuff from Amazon that
yes,
you're using. Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, for
Okay. So that's
sure.
one of them.
Yep. And then, so especially in the summer, this I find is really helpful for me is icing my joints in between shows, or so for anyone else in between spurts of physical activity. You don't want to overdo it, but again, Amazon has like amazing, like they're like wraps that wrap right around each joint. They've got like a little wrist one that slips right over your hand. They just have such great stuff on there that really kind of sets you up for success. So I keep a whole bag of that at work, and I just on my breaks I'll just ice, or over my lunch or whatnot. And that I have found, especially in the summer when you're really fighting against the heat, which by in nature is going to inflame your joints even more,
Right. Right.
that just really just cools everything down, just calms everything down a little bit and makes it a little bit more manageable. So I definitely highly recommend that if you're in a warmer climate, or, fighting the heat.
Well, but in a colder climate too, because in a colder climate, aren't you going to have more joint pains too? Well, a
So
colder, humid.
yeah, so for me at least, I find that icing, I pretty much have found that I really only do it in the summer,
Really?
because kind of that thing of where, like, how I was saying earlier about how in the summer I can just like feel the inflammation, but in the winter and in the cooler months, it just is more like joint pain. It doesn't necessarily, I know, and it's like, of course, all right, is inflammation, but for some reason, the cooling doesn't have quite as much effect when I'm in the cooler months. I
But
guess just
I
because of
think
that
the
blood flow
humidity
is,
isn't as high though either.
well, definitely. No, that's definitely part of it too. Some, it
Because I
depends on
was
the
gonna,
days, but
because okay, so I have a sister that lives out in Oregon,
uh-huh.
and Oregon, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Don't take me
Mhm.
wrong, but like I was there a couple winters, and
Mhm.
Chicago area, Illinois, whatever, Midwest,
Yeah.
Wisconsin, we
Yeah.
get cold winters.
Oh, yeah.
I went out to Oregon in the winter to
Mhm.
visit my sister, and I could not get warm. Could not
Interesting.
get warm. And I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Hmm.
Well, one, a lot of them don't have furnaces because, well, not now the ozone's changed. So everywhere
Yeah.
you go, the temperature is not what it's supposed to been or
Yeah,
be
true.
like it was. But
Mhm.
then their winters were like 60 degrees,
Oh, wow.
or 50 degrees and not lower than
Uh-huh.
that. Now they're
Interesting.
getting what the Midwest is getting. And
Ah.
ours are starting to get a little warmer
Yeah.
here and there.
Interesting.
But
Mhm.
anyway, so they don't have furnaces, a lot of their homes. They have heaters on the wall that you can just heat
Okay.
up a room for a short amount of time,
I
because
see.
by noon it's warm out again.
Mhm.
Well, anyway, I couldn't even with those heaters just get warm. And I
Wow.
finally figured out that it was the humidity was so bad.
Interesting.
So humidity in cold weather is bad too.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. That's what I've noticed the most in these winter months, is that because of course it's Florida, so we get a lot of rain. But on the days when it's rainy and cold, those are probably my toughest days out of any of them. Now, I don't necessarily, again, my joints aren't like, they don't necessarily feel like they need ice, but you know, I'm sure it probably wouldn't hurt people. But yes, no, I totally agree. The cold wet is like the worst combination. And then the hot wet is the second worst in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
I can see that. So,
Yeah.
well, you're not in the greatest spot for that.
I know. I know, it's so funny. I now understand why people move to like Arizona. You know,
Right.
it's like, oh, okay, this
That's a
actually
dry
makes sense.
heat at least. It's
Yes.
a
Yeah.
lot, but it's a dry
Mhm.
heat.
Yes, which actually brings me to my next method that I
Okay,
is
let's
probably my
go.
favorite. Yes. So I actually go to it's a place called Hot Works. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I haven't. Hot work.
So it's yeah, it's it's a place to go work out, but you get your own individual infrared sauna and you work out in there and there's like a screen that has the workout on there. So you can,
Our
yeah, have
Planet
it
Fitness
fully to
has
yourself.
that. Our,
Where you get your
yes,
own.
yes,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Interesting. That's cool.
yeah.
Wow. Well, that's awesome.
And then I have a health spa, which is a wellness health spa that
Hmm.
I'm a member of, and they have those treatments too.
Nice.
So
That's
that's
great.
nice, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
Hot Works is what is that in Orlando? Is that all
Yeah,
over?
so it is I'm not sure. I think they're in most states. Yeah.
Really?
There's like 3 of them in Orlando and then they're kind of all over in various parts of the US, but yeah, so it's like you get like a 6 by 10 probably infrared sauna to yourself and then, you know, you can do all the yoga and, you know, you pick whichever workout you want to do, whether that's Pilates or yoga or hot buns or, you know, things like that. Um, and I've really found that that has been like a game changer for me. That was again something that my rheumatologist was trying to say, like, do not go into the infrared sauna because it is heat. But I'm like, it is heat, but it's a different kind of heat. It's a
Right,
heat that is light based and it doesn't
right.
penetrate the body the same way. And so I was like, you know, I held off for a little bit and then eventually I said, I've got to make my own rules here. I cannot just listen to some doctor that I don't really trust. So
Isn't that
you know,
sad that we have to do our own?
I know it really
Oh,
is.
well, at least
Yeah,
we're doing it.
that's right. Yes, and sharing with others so that they don't have
Yes,
to do as many trials themselves.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay, so
that I
that's an
find,
option.
yep,
What
and that
else?
I will say is that is the only place truly that I can move my body like I used to. So like that's the only place where I can do a push up or because you know just with the elbows and things just don't really move or work the same anymore. And so that's truly the only place where I feel like totally pain free. So if people are looking for that as a, you know, an option, I by all means try and find that place or somewhere like it because it just really is great. And then, you know, there are some days I will say that I do leave feeling inflamed and then I'll just go home and ice and then I'm good to go. So, you know, you kind of just have to do trial and error for what works with your specific body. But and along with that, of course, one of the things that I am like the biggest advocate for as well is doing acupuncture and chiropractic care. Are you on board with that too?
Bet, you bet.
Yes. I love
Once
that.
a week. And I also
Yes.
do a massage once a week.
Oh, that's great. Wow.
Well, it helps that I have one 2 doors down from my business and she
Oh,
gives me a
yeah.
discount. So if you pay cash, like a full chiropractic treatment,
Hmm.
that is like $25
Wow.
if you pay cash instead of
Yeah.
using insurance.
Oh, great.
And a
That's
lot of insurance
amazing.
companies don't cover chiropractic anyway. And
It's
then
true.
she also has a wonderful massage therapist there.
Wow.
And those are your normal price,
Sure.
but
Yeah, makes sense.
she's amazing. So I can like
Great.
get a massage and then have her adjust me because then I'm more loosened up.
Yeah. Oh, that's
And then she's got
perfect.
that gun.
Oh, yes. I love that. Yeah.
I can't believe how it works. I don't
I
understand it
know.
or anything, but it works.
Same. Yes, it does.
It
That's
does.
awesome.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I actually named one of yours then because massage therapy, I think, was in there too.
That was another one. Yep. You took it right out of my mouth. I love it.
Sorry about that.
No, by all
So
means.
it looks like the one that's left is, and I don't even know how to pronounce it. Is it cryotherapy?
Oh, probably chiropractic. Is that the?
No, it's CRYOTH.
Oh, cryotherapy. Yes, yes, yes. That is another.
Cryotherapy.
Oh, okay. I thought you said chirotherapy, so I wasn't sure. But yes, cryotherapy. Yes.
Cryotherapy.
Yeah.
I probably did.
No, that's all right. We got there.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So what
that's
is
another
that?
great thing. So it's actually where you go into like a little chamber, and it's, I don't even know what the temperature, it's like crazy low temperature, like 200 below zero or something insane.
It's
Maybe it's not that.
cold?
Yeah, so it's cold, and it works a little bit different from just straight, just like the normal icing of the joints, because it's almost like a flash cold, and it's such a low temperature that, so it actually, I learned this the other day. Actually, cryotherapy was actually made for rheumatoid arthritis treatment,
Really?
but of course the
But
beautiful pharmaceutical companies came in and said, no, it's not, we will give you drugs instead. So yeah, so then that, now it's not really advertised as being that, because it is good for, really anybody. It's amazing, because it works on like a cellular level, and it
isn't
just
it a hose
has.
though?
Honestly, no. I mean, because you're only in there for maybe 2 minutes tops, because that's all your body can really handle, and that's really all the time that it takes. But it's definitely uncomfortable, but it's not
It has to be
terrible.
uncomfortable.
A little bit, yeah.
I
It's
I
not.
did
It's
I did a polar plunge once. Oh my God.
oh nice.
Oh
Oh gosh,
no. No, not here in the
no,
winter.
true.
No. Oh my gosh. And my son and I did one, gosh, was it for Arthritis Foundation? I don't know, but it was in the summer, and it was
Okay.
the ice bucket challenge.
Oh sure.
That was fun, but that was freezing cold,
I
but it was
bet.
fun. But it was fun. I
Yeah,
mean,
that
at
is
least
fun.
it was, we chose a day where it was warm enough outside. Like,
Yes.
even though it was
Uh-huh.
freezing right then, it was only a
Yeah,
couple seconds and you were warm again. But I can't
that's
even
true.
imagine laying there for 2 minutes on something that 200
Well,
degrees below.
Well, now don't quote me. I'm probably exaggerating, but it is like insanely, insanely cold. Like it's meant to like freeze
I wonder
everything
if I can
basically.
live
And you
that one up.
actually, oh yeah, I'm sure. And yeah, you actually like walk into this little thing. So you're not touching anything, which I think is helpful. You're
So you're
just really only
standing
touching
up,
the ground. You're standing. Yeah.
kind of like a
And then
standing tanning bed or something.
exactly like that.
Is
Yes.
it?
Yep.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I was kidding.
No, it really is so similar.
I'm gonna try to look
Yeah.
this up. So you keep talking.
Okay. Yeah, and it's so good for athletes. It's so good for people who have any sort of muscle joint issues. And of course, they'll give you gloves and socks when you go in there to make sure that you don't get frostbite on, of course, your most
My gosh,
um
I'm just getting cold thinking about.
I know.
I wonder, my son has scoliosis, his
Oh,
curvature,
okay.
and
Yeah.
he's only 20 and he's like lifts weights. You're froze. Are you back?
Oh, there you are. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what happened?
Okay, there you are. You went totally frozen, no sound
Oh,
or
you
or
were
video.
froze.
Oh, I was too. Funny.
I
I
was
sent you a
moving
chat.
and you were froze.
Oh, same. Okay, that's so weird. Okay, well,
Huh.
I'm glad we got
I'm
it worked out.
looking,
I thought it
my
was gonna.
internet's full.
Me too.
Weird.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're back,
So
everybody.
we're back. So you're
Um,
saying your son has scoliosis. He's 20?
he's 20. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And that's family hereditary, not on my side,
I
on his
see.
dad's side. Um,
Okay.
I get upset because he lifts, he lifts weights 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't,
Gotcha.
I mean, like one day he does legs, one day he does his shoulders, one day he does his abs. So, I mean, that's different, but it
Mhm.
doesn't matter what and he wears a back brace, but
Okay.
he still that night has his back hurt so bad. I
Oh,
wonder if
wow.
that would help him. He keeps taking, I have one of those rice bags that you put in the microwave.
Oh,
So
yeah,
moist,
sure.
moist
Mm-hmm.
heat, and that
Yeah.
helps a little bit. And then he's got one of those guns. It's,
Yes, the massage guns. Yeah, those are
yes,
great.
it looks like a drill to me.
It does, yes.
But he has me do that along each side of his spine for a little
Oh,
bit. But there's got to be something more to help him. Okay, so cryotherapy, sometimes known as cold therapy, is the
oh,
local or general use of low temperatures in the medical therapy. It may be used to treat a variety of tissue lesions. The most prominent use of terms refers to the surgical treatment, specifically known as cryo cryosurgery.
there it is. Yes.
There it is.
Yeah.
Let me see. Of course, it's got to have side effects.
Of course.
Numbness or tingling, redness and irritation of the skin, pain during the procedure for at
Yeah.
least 24 hours. Blisters? Why would you have
I've
blisters?
never got that, but I guess if they don't give you like the gloves or the feet things, maybe
Okay.
that's a form of hypothermia or or frostbite.
Then
That's what I mean.
burns, frostbite, and then
Hmm.
infection with pus or oozing. That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
But let's see what it does for the body.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how it works, everybody. Cold therapy is also known as the word that I don't say correctly, cryotherapy. Yay.
Yeah, you
It
did
works.
it.
It works by reducing blood flow to a particular area, which can significantly reduce inflammation and swelling that causes pain, especially around a joint or a tendon.
Hmm.
So, what was I going to look it up for though? Are you kidding me? Why does everything go to paint to weight loss?
Oh, oh yeah, of course. I think maybe the temperature, because I'm sure I way over exaggerated negative 200
I
degrees.
know. Well, it doesn't have what they're, but so I'm going to have to make it say it.
Yeah.
There's actually some places near me that came up.
Oh, great.
So if that'll help my son, that would be great.
Yeah.
How do I put that? How cold is temperature?
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I suppose it
Me
doesn't matter.
too. I'm curious too. Yeah. What does it say?
Negative 222.
Wow, I was very close.
You were so close.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm proud of myself.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty chilly.
Won't get me in there.
No, says your son.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see. No,
Yeah.
he's the one that sits in front of his TV playing this game, and and our house isn't cold, but has
Uh-huh.
his own heater that belongs
Really?
right on him,
Oh no.
but has his shirt off and then his boxers. I'm like, really?
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, he doesn't like cold whatsoever,
Gotcha. Makes sense.
but maybe he'll like that better than the pain.
Yeah, that's true. And it's only 2 minutes. That's it.
Yeah, but 2 minutes can seem like hours.
It can.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to see what's going on here. Oh, you typed in you're frozen. Okay.
Oh, yes, yes. Yeah, that was from yeah,
That's okay.
before.
I just wanted to see what was going on over there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because you were frozen. That was so weird.
I know, that is weird.
Oh, you
Yeah.
know what? my thing down there says rain's coming, and so
Oh, that
might
makes
affect
sense.
the
Probably.
Okay, so we got through medication, supplements. You did not talk about.
Right. But I'm a big advocate of those as well.
Me too. So let's
You
go.
too?
Let's see what
Yeah.
you do, and I'll tell you what I do.
Okay, perfect. So I actually, right when I got diagnosed, I started working with, along with my rheumatologist and my team of doctors, I started working with an integrative medicine doctor. And that, for people who don't know, is basically somebody who treats the whole system, not just the one issue that's going to cause other issues, and so on and so on. So they try and get to the very root of the problem, so the
Okay.
systemic issue. And so I worked with her for, over a year now. And so she has me on a variety of supplements, also kind of depending on how I'm doing and what symptoms I'm experiencing. So, of course, I do the usual things like fish oil and turmeric and, all the things like that, but also things like resveratrol, which I highly, highly recommend.
Okay, I got to write that down. I wouldn't even know how to spell
Yes.
it. Never heard of it.
Oh, wow. Oh, you should definitely look into it.
What
And
does
this, I'm
that
not.
do? Well, can you spell it for me?
Yes, it's Resveratrol.
Resveratrol.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good
Woo!
job. Look at you.
I am big, just so you know, I am big on, I'm very good at grammar,
Oh, okay.
but, and spelling, but
Uh-huh.
I pronounce words as they're spelled.
I got you. Yep.
And that's a bad
Phonetically.
habit. And it's, of
Uh-huh.
course, especially in the English language, is not always right at all.
Yeah.
So I'm known for it. I used to have a low self-esteem because of it, because people
Oh,
would make
wow.
fun of me. And now I
Oh,
just laugh about it.
that's
I
all
had
you
to
can
get over it.
do.
I had to get over it. My
Yeah.
mom was an English teacher, so I
Oh,
was
wow.
corrected all the time,
Gotcha. That makes sense.
all the time. So that's probably where that started.
Yeah.
Um, not, and don't take that wrong. I'm not like I was this traumatized kid because my
Oh,
mom
no,
was
I
an
got
English
you.
teacher. Um,
Totally.
but I mean, there was a time when I would say, okay, can you just stop? Like every sentence that came out of our mouth, she corrected.
Wow. Oh my
That
goodness.
was just, and it was a college professor. So
Oh, yeah. That makes
anyway,
sense.
so I said it right.
Yes, you did.
So what does it do?
So actually it's used for, well, I guess it benefits a lot of different things. So it's actually um well, there's a whole thing about how if you eat plants that have been stressed, it has more antioxidant and disease fighting agents for your body. So resveratrol is basically derived from those plants, to my understanding. And there are certain types of, grapes that are stressed more. That's why things like Pinot Noir are going to be better for you than Chardonnay, or not
Now,
Chardonnay,
wait a
but
minute. Is it just, you think from vegetables or fruits and vegetables?
fruits and vegetables.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So, but in going with the wine thing, this is just kind of a side note, but so there are a certain type of grapes that are much more stressed throughout their, lifespan, I suppose,
Mhm.
than other grapes. And those grapes are used to make Pinot Noir. So that Pinot Noir is actually like pretty darn healthy for you to drink, which is crazy. Of course, we always hear like red wine is full of antioxidants, but Pinot Noir specifically has amazing
Is that the
properties.
brand? Isn't that a brand?
No, it's that's just the type of wine. So like there's, like Cabernet,
Right.
Chardonnay, Pinot Noir is just the type. So many different brands. But so resveratrol has a lot of the similar properties as far as that goes, and so a higher level of antioxidants. And it's it actually has been shown to reverse aging, not even just
Really?
like halt it. Yeah, it's amazing. So it's really great for the body that is going through, trauma and autoimmune responses and things like that, because it can actually flip that back on itself and reverse that, which is amazing.
So where do you get that?
I order all my supplements basically through her, through it's an online her own shop called Wellevate, but I imagine you can get it at various, I don't even know if they would have it at like a Whole Foods, but might take a little digging for that one. It's not quite as common as other ones, but I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to track down. So that is one I definitely highly recommend for, I mean, honestly, really anybody, but probiotics are another, of course, huge thing. It is widely known now that all autoimmune diseases
What was
are
the other
rooted,
one?
probiotics.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you know those.
Yep.
Yep. So it is, very widely known and accepted now that autoimmune diseases are rooted in the gut. So a big part of treating autoimmune diseases from a holistic method
Right.
is all stemming from the gut. So that's why you want to, have really good quality probiotics and the right strains and things. So yeah, that's something I definitely recommend because that is part of the gut healing regimen.
So one of the problems is, don't you think somebody needs to have a nutritionist or something that helps them get the correct things? Otherwise, you can be taking.
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I really recommend, the working with some kind of holistic doctor or integrative medicine doctor, because like with mine, we did a GI panel where it tested every sort of my entire microbiome in my gut, and then she could see exactly, oh, you're lacking on these strains of bacteria, so we need to up these and maybe lower these ones that you're good on, so they can really see it on a, just, it's crazy how many different strains of everything there are and how much they influence.
I'm reading to see where you can get this.
Gotcha.
It's a natural fennel produced by several plants in response to injury or when the plant is under attack by pathogens such as bacteria or fungi.
Yeah.
Sources of in food include the skin of grapes, blueberries, raspberries, mulberries, and peanuts.
Mm.
I wonder if it has peanuts in it. My son's allergic to peanuts, like highly allergic.
Oh, really? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, you might have to check. To my knowledge, they're usually typically derived, at least what I take is derived from like berries and grapes. I don't have any peanut in mine, but you might have to just check the bottle.
Oh, here we go. It's on my Mayo Clinic thing.
Oh, how funny.
Oh, so it's in a group of compounds called polyphenols. Polyphenols.
Okay.
They're thought to act like antioxidants, protecting the
Mhm.
body against damage that can put you at high risk for things like cancer and heart disease.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
Researchers have believed that substances in red wine might have health benefits.
Yes.
Yeah, which I've known that for a long time.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I guess I just didn't know that Pinot Noir specifically is the best of all the red
It's the best
wines.
of
So
all.
that's, yeah.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
we'll have everybody look that up too.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so those are some of the things that you're doing for yours. And I think that kind of wraps it. Is there anything else you
Yeah.
want to share?
I mean, I guess I would just say for, people who are navigating any sort of health challenge and whatever comes along with it, is that, I know we kind of touched on this, and you, I'm sure, can totally attest to this being a life coach as well. But I think so much is rooted in our mindset, and I think if you're having, like, there are days, of course, that we are all human. There are days when I am at a very low and it is very hard and my mindset is not where I would like it to be. And those, I feel it so much more in my body. My body is in so much more pain. And if I go into a day where I'm like, okay, we're going to find gratitude, we're going to, really practice this positive, healthy amount of positive mindset, my body I just feel better. I feel more energetic. it just sets you on a different level, so I think finding ways that you can just really just reframe the situation and try and find gratitude for your illness or whatever the struggle is. That would be my biggest tip.
Okay, so I also use meditation,
Mm-hmm.
not as in, not that I don't pray, because I do, but meditation as far as deep breathing, relaxation. I also listen to a podcast, which his voice soothing. He does a lot of healing meditation. So
Okay.
it's again in your mindset.
Yeah. Who is that? Do you mind me asking?
The name of the podcast is Shelley Cove, I believe. Not Shelley Cove, Cove. Let me look it up real quick.
Okay.
It'll be right in the front because I listen to it every night.
Oh, that's great.
Sleep Cove,
Oh, nice. Okay.
with Christopher Fitton, and I believe he is on Instagram too.
Okay, great.
But he has not just for sleeping. I think that's why
Mhm.
he started it, was
Sure.
meditation for sleeping, which I need anyway.
Yeah.
It just puts me into a deeper sleep.
Mhm.
And I fall asleep to his voice, and they're like an hour long.
Oh,
Some of them
nice.
two, depends on what he's doing it on. But there's
Mhm.
also like mindfulness ones, there's healing ones. You just
Mhm.
kind of got to go down his list and see what it is that day you particularly need.
Yeah, totally.
There's self-love ones, so
Mhm. That's great. I will
yeah,
definitely
so it's
check that
called
out.
Sleep Cove. And so you can
Okay.
look him up on Instagram, or his podcasts are on Spotify.
Oh, perfect.
So
Awesome.
yeah, so
Yeah.
people can listen to him free. I think on Instagram is just where he like shows where to
Mhm.
go.
Gotcha.
Yeah, actually listen to one on Instagram.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good to know.
Okay, so would you like to give out your Instagram name in case anybody would like to reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my Instagram is at sick and thriving. And
I love it.
absolutely feel thanks. Yeah, and I will say I'm juggling a lot, so it takes me a minute or two to respond to everybody, but I will always eventually get back to you. It just might take me a couple days, but please, by all means, if anybody has questions or just needs another buddy in this crazy world navigating chronic illness or whatever comes our way, by all means reach out, follow along. I post a lot of funny, silly reels, just kind of making light of all things chronic illness and mental health.
That's
So
what we need to do.
that's right.
So if you want to laugh a lot, I believe laughing a lot helps people. Laughing
Yes,
and crying. Okay.
absolutely. That's important too.
So I don't know if everybody knows exactly what crying does for you, but we have in the tear ducts, there's certain
Hmm.
endorphins that come out that make you
Mm,
happy when you cry, or that make you
interesting.
feel better. So that's part
Yeah.
of that. And so sometimes if I'm really, really stressed, I will find a sad movie that will make me cry to
Hmm.
watch, because I
Yes.
just can't, at the drop of a hat, make myself cry,
Yeah.
um, depending on what it is.
Hmm.
And then what was the other? Oh, and then for laughing, I just
Hmm.
started this. My dear aunt told me about it, but the Reba show.
Oh, really?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, funny.
So I guess she's on every morning from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. for 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
But there's no way that I would get up at 4 in the morning and watch it.
Yeah.
But you can get her on Hulu, and you can start at episode
Ah,
1, because you really kind of need to see where the story goes. It's hilarious. But
gotcha.
she just has episode after episode, so it doesn't ever quit.
Oh, wow.
I like seriously laugh out loud. I've had my
Wow.
son come in, my husband come in and go, "What's going on?" What are
Reba.
you laughing about? I'm like, you'd have to see it. I mean, the facial expressions, just the whole story is
She
hilarious.
is a trip, man. She's so funny.
She is so funny. And I can't remember, like all the people that are in it are actually pretty famous.
Okay.
So her daughter on there, not her biological daughter, but this, the girl that plays
In
her
the
daughter,
show. Yeah.
um, she gets pregnant in high school.
Okay.
Just no, I'm sorry, her freshman year in college. Pardon me,
Mm,
that makes a difference to her.
gotcha.
She was still 17 though.
Oh, okay.
And of course, her mom threw a fit and her boyfriend that she got pregnant by was going to college for football, and he wanted to be a big football star. And so when they found out they were pregnant, it was quite the shocking thing, but she knew
Oh,
right away she was going to keep it, but they both wanted to finish college. So they get married and they live with Reba. And the guy that
okay.
plays her husband, he's on, oh my gosh, it's a totally different show, but he's really good at it. I can't even think of it now. Darn it.
Mhm.
Can't think of it, but you'll know.
Gotcha.
If you just watch one episode, I'm sure you'll recognize
Uh-huh.
him. But on this, he actually plays very dumb,
Oh, okay.
very dumb, almost like an
Gotcha.
Adam Sadler type
Gotcha.
dumb
Hmm.
in a show. So he does it very well because in the other movies that he's in, he's not like that at all. So you wouldn't
Okay.
even, so he's a good actor. If you can switch like that
It's
so much.
true.
And he cracks me up. He's so dumb. Anyway, so that's a good show to watch to make you laugh.
Good to know.
I just
Yeah.
learned about it, so um,
I
I'm not
love
being paid
that.
to advertise it or anything.
No.
But I did want to tell you, so something that, gosh, I should have gotten it out to tell you all that's in it, but I do athletic greens.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's my drink.
Okay.
That has everything, all vegetables that you need in a day.
Nice.
And it's all natural. Um,
Good.
it does give you a little bit of energy, but it's not known as, it doesn't have caffeine or anything like that.
Oh,
Everything's
okay.
natural. And it
Hmm.
actually tastes good. That's,
Wow.
to me, that's important. You just take one scoop. I
Hmm.
just learned this lately. I tried it. So at first I was taking it and I was making it like I did my Shakeology, and I would
Hmm.
put stuff like fruit in it. I hadn't tried it with just water yet. I just knew it
Okay.
wasn't going to be good if I didn't.
Definitely.
Um, but then I saw Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah.
He takes it every day,
Oh,
and,
okay.
so I happen to send a message and say, do you just like straight up drink it with water? Because on the directions it just says to put one scoop in 8 ounces of water and shake it, and they send
Okay.
you the bottle that's
Okay.
marked. Okay. And then you
Oh.
also, when you do get it, you also get a 1 year supply of DK and K2
Oh,
like
wow.
drops.
Wow, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, but anyway, so he said, you know what, it tastes good. So just do it with the water, try it. So
Wow.
I don't know why, but I can't drink ice cold water fast.
I'm
I'll
not a
start
nice water
choking.
person either. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, when I go to a restaurant, if I ask for water, it's no ice.
me too.
We're a lot alike.
We really are.
Yeah. When's your birthday?
It's
Don't
on
say
Thursday.
August.
No, no, I'm April 7th.
I'm August. Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
But anyway, so I did it, and it shakes up really good. Everything mixes really well. So you don't have to use a mix or anything.
Okay.
So I shake it up, 8 ounces of water. I just use room temperature water. So like I buy a jug of water and just keep it room
Mm-hmm.
temperature. That's what I use.
Mm-hmm.
So I can that was my first time, just chug it down because I just knew it
Yeah.
was going to taste awful.
Mm-hmm.
If it was that good for you, it was going to be not good for
Definitely.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's actually
Wow.
has a tropical taste to it.
Oh, wow.
So I
That's
could
awesome.
sip it if I wanted to. It doesn't have any like value as far as weight loss or anything like that. It's just a
Sure.
supplement.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of your
Wow.
supplements say for weight loss and that kind of, it's nothing like that. It's just to make
Okay.
sure you get your daily nutrients. And it's
Okay.
done a world of good things for me.
Wow. I'm definitely
I
going to look
just,
at
I
that.
just have felt better, like you wouldn't believe. And
Wow.
I'm
That's
sure part of it
great.
is the DK2, K2.
Yeah, definitely. It's so important. And we do not get that anywhere. It's
No, we
crazy.
don't. We don't. And then the last
Yeah.
thing is everybody needs to know this, whether it's winter or summer, whatever, you should at least get 10 minutes of sunshine per day, and that's your vitamin K.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that makes a difference in your mind.
It does. 100% agree.
So
That's a great
with
tip.
that, I think we should
Yeah.
end it. So
Yeah.
my handle on Instagram is struggle winner, and I
Yes. Such a
help
good one.
people win struggles.
Yes, you do.
So that's what we do. So thank you so
Yeah.
much. And hopefully
Thank
I'll be
you.
seeing you and seeing what you're
Absolutely.
posting. And I'm
Yes,
very,
let's keep
very,
in
very,
touch.
yeah, let's do. All
Yeah,
right.
perfect.
So you have a
Thank
good
you so
night.
much. You too. Thanks
Thank
so
you for
much.
your last minute. You've done wonderful. Can't wait to put
Oh,
it up.
thank you. Thanks. I appreciate it.